actually run with it and live with it in the everyday world of business, corporations, jobs, the sort of the dog eat dog world that we tend to live in.
Well, let me just kind of sit with that and see what's percolating up. I feel like yoga for me has been something that I was really enmeshed in for a long time. I spent like 3 years, started doing some training in yoga, and then I stepped away from it for about 5 or 6 years. And recently, in the last couple of years, have been revisiting it. And it's such a beautiful metaphor for life. I forget who the author is, but he wrote a book called Meditations from the Mat, which really talks about that everything that comes up on the yoga mat is exactly what comes up in the boardroom, exactly what comes up in the bedroom. It's this, because we compare ourselves to, I should be here, I should do that differently. We get out of the moment and we start to compare and start to condemn when we don't live up to an ideal. And so being able to come from this space and just always starting over. One of the metaphors I draw around that is we want to get immediate results. But if you look at nature, look how long it takes to carve out a coast, or to turn a rock cliff into a beautiful sandy beach. It's ocean, it's wave by wave, starting over again, once and once again, to be able to take that stone, break it down, and turn it into this beautiful sandy beach. And that's our life, is we're taking the stones of our thinking and we're breaking them down with constantly starting over and reminding ourselves of our purity.
And that's absolutely fine. That's, the sort of allowing yourself to do that, the acceptance of that metaphor, that premise is absolutely fine. So often we tend to feel guilt and, as you said, compare ourselves, feel that we're not measuring up, we're not doing well enough. And being able to let go, like you say, of that feeling helps us to be in the present, in the moment. And I can remember this concept of being in the now, being in the present, was one that was quite challenging for me personally to grasp. But like you, yoga helped me. The breathing, because breathing is integral to yoga, really helps.
Absolutely.
My home office, I once had a conversation with somebody, and he was an entrepreneur as well, and he was saying, I'm just in my home office. It was by the beach somewhere. And I said, I've just been on my yoga mat. I thought, oh, yeah, it does sometimes, So I sort of, I felt that sort of knowingness in that, yes, I'd been there when you mentioned yoga. And that would be something then that would be really advantageous for anybody who's not yet experienced yoga to give it a go.
Absolutely.
Why not?
It is the most beautiful. It has probably become one of the most beautiful, powerful relationships and friendships that I have in my life, and it's because it's so nourishing. It's just a beautiful way to spend time with yourself and getting to know yourself, because you realize that the tension in your body, where you feel tension in your muscles or pain in your body, is all about some kind of emotional connection to something in your past, and just breathing into it, creating a little bit of heat and being with it is just a beautiful experience. And you walk away from that with a vibration that's unparalleled.
Yeah. You end up being very, very relaxed. You tend not to do drama anymore.
Right. Right.
These dramas that before would take you over, they just take you away in the flow of it. You don't do them anymore.
I agree.
That's a great byproduct, isn't it, of the experience. So how do you take this? Is perhaps you can tell us a little bit, Mark, about how you take this into the sort of the personal branding and the sales stuff, the marketing stuff. How is what you do now, because of your experience, because of your journey, because of what your background and upbringing, how has that changed maybe the way that you approach your field?
I think that at the core of every successful persona, whether that's you as a brand, whether that's a product, a service, a book. At the core of every successful persona is one centralizing theme. And what that means is, what is it that you really truly stand for and stand on? And so effectively being able to lead people, effectively being able to step into that energy and allow the right words to just flow. Really comes from the self-work of discovering who you really are, and more importantly, discovering who you're meant to serve. A lot of people in business are trying to be all to everyone. And it's a real, and especially in today's society where the way we communicate, you've got to get really clear on who you have been called to serve. And you look at your wounds, you look at your successes, and you start to see, I have always been this guiding light for this kind of person. And then you start to realize that it's your job to collaborate, connect, and serve them, and then clarify a transformation that you can give them. And then work your best to help them find the courage to invest in that transformation.
And so that's the process you went through.